And that shooting in Kansas City became a real talking point at the Ohio State Capitol today. Advocates held the first ever gun violence prevention summit, an event to discuss how to keep Ohioans safe.
As our Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trout explains, lawmakers have proposed 5 bills, all dedicated to combating Ohio gun deaths.
Gun violence is hurting families and creating everlasting traumas.
With gun deaths continuing to rise in Ohio, Democratic lawmakers are trying to make a change.
We are not sitting on our hands.
At their Violence Prevention Summit Wednesday, State Rep Donnie Isaacson and fellow Dems introduced a package of gun safety bills.
By limiting access to weapons for people who cannot pass basic background checks, by limiting access to concealed carry permits for people who should not and cannot qualify, we are making our communities safer.
The legislation includes increasing protections for victims of domestic violence, requiring universal background checks, and mandating a concealed carry permit to have a gun in public.
Lives are at stake.
And although the advocates, victims, and law enforcement officers who attended the event all cheered the legislation,
they've been rejected in the past, they'll be rejected again.
Republican State Rep Josh Williams says this won't be an easy battle for his colleagues across the aisle. He supports the lawmakers' decision in 2022 to pass permitless carry, eliminating the need for CCW permits.
The idea that you have to have a permit to defend yourself outside your home is ridiculous.
But he believes there is room for compromise to combat gun violence. Co-sponsoring 2 of the bills introduced today. One creating a gun violence task force and the other declaring gun violence a public health crisis. But he says their other bills limiting access are unlawful.
It's removing a protected constitutional right that's enshrined in our Bill of Rights, both in our state and our federal constitution.
Isaacson says there's nothing unconstitutional about these bills or about prioritizing people's lives.
These are common sense approaches.
The governor told us he supports gun safety legislation, like limiting firearm access to people who are a danger to themselves. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trout reporting.